Hello everyone, it's that time again. Welcome back to another dev diary for Plants vs. Zombies 2 Top Secret. This one is the most significant of the bunch as it is Assault Aquaspace. We have a lot of content to go over today, and I will be showing you all the new plans and zombies you can expect to get your hands on or go against very, very soon. First, let's talk about the new music though. Our developer Flexio made the music you're hearing in the background, and I think it's pretty good. And I also have another developer who made some of the animations for the Assault Aquaspace basics. Whoa, is that?
Hello, I am that one. And contrary to my name, Devastator Destroyer, I'm mostly responsible for creation, for animation, as mentioned previously.
Dang it, I summoned another one. You feel like you're attention piggies. That's not very cool of you.
Hello, I am Piggy, and rather cool, might I add. I won't take this not very cool slander flying around these waters?
Goodness gracious, I've literally summoned all of them now. Guess we may as well introduce ourselves. I'll start. I am Sixit Boy, the creator of Top Secret, and my specialties are texture implementation, management, animation, art, coding, and a tad bit of level making, but the others are better than me.
As mentioned previously, I'm Devastator Destroyer. I specialize mostly in coding and animation, but I've also done art and level making. A jack of all trades, really.
And I am Piggy McCool, the ultimate art specialist. I've made a lot of art for the Top Secret project, although surprisingly, none of it was for Assault Aquaspace.
Well, you've met the team now. Let's dive into the actual content. First, let's talk main gimmicks. If you watched our dev showcase from a few months ago, you would remember that the blue bubble tiles and the white bubble tiles actually act differently from each other. You can plant whatever plants you choose to on the white tiles, while you can only plant aquatic plants on the blue tiles. Fortunately, we have 4 of our new aquatic plants in our possession now, as well as guacadile.
The other main gimmick for this world is these jerry cans you see all over the lawn. When zombies get to these, they go up a lane. The goal of AA is to not prevent zombies from getting to the end of the board, but instead trying to prevent zombies from getting to the jerry cans at the top. These zombies are incredibly dangerous, what with their flamethrowers and guns and pretty much everything else. If they get to the surface, humanity is certainly doomed. These zombies and the jerry cans all got here because somehow there was a city in the sky that fell drastically and fell right into the depths of this very ocean. You can even see some of the wreckage in the background of our board.
Alright, enough about gimmicks. Let's talk about plants. First off, we heard you loud and clear, and we've reworked sun algae to no longer produce 15 sun in its first phase. Sun algae now produces 25 sun when planted, 75 after growing up once, and 100 sun after growing up twice. But he costs 50 sun and has less HP than a sunflower. He also takes significantly longer to grow up compared to a sunshroom. He's risky to use, but pays off well in the long term. When fed plant food, he will grow to full and produce 300 sun.
The next plant is cattail. I don't think I need to explain cattail to you. We all know and love them. It's especially useful in Assault Aquaspace because of these backward zombies. She can help you make quick work of them, and prioritizes them before the ones in front of her. She costs 200 sun and deals decent damage. However, when fed plant food, she fires a ton of lightly damaging projectiles. She summons so many, they don't even look like they're doing light damage.
The next plant is my personal favorite. I put sweat, blood, tears of my heart, and my soul into this one. Welcome, Bodygourd, to Top Secret. Bodygourd is a plant with a lot of HP. Not as much as a walnut, but close. He is the defensive plant that Assault Aquaspace desperately needed. He can be planted on top of other plants, like, pumpkin. When he's first planted, he does a very little damage to zombies in front of him, less so than a pea shooter. But here's the other neat part of Bodygourd. You can plant him on top of himself multiple times and he gets more powerful with each planting, kind of like a pea pod. On his second planting, he does double the damage from the first, and he gains a stylish earpiece. On his third planting, he does triple the damage from the first, and stuns for a small amount of time, and gains a neat little hat. On his fourth planting, he does 5 times the damage as the first planting, and stuns for twice as long as the third, and also gets a baton. On his 5th and final planting, he does 6 times the damage as the first planting, which is 3 times the damage as a pea shooter, and his stun is now 3 times as long as his third planting, and he's a slight chance of knocking zombies back. This chance is so low that I didn't even get footage of it. And finally, when this guy is fed plant food, he gets all of his swag and throws it off towards the zombies one piece at a time, each piece doing something different. The sunglasses shrink the zombie they hit, the baton does heavy damage and stuns the zombie it hits, the hat stays in place from the first zombie it hits and takes shots like a knockoff wall plant, the earpiece stalls the zombie for a really long time. Body cord costs 75 sun and has a slowish recharge.
And now for our final plant, Poisidana. Poisidana costs 500 sun and recharges very slowly, but he is absolutely worth it. This guy occasionally fires a shark that does insane damage to every zombie in the lane. It can take out a basic zombie with just one projectile. Sometimes even fires a red shark that knocks everyone back too. When fed plant food, he fires off 4 sharks immediately. This is basically a guaranteed lane-wide destruction. Total destruction.
Our first new zombie is the Scientist, who fires 2 different kinds of projectiles. He can either fire a small bubble that does light damage to every plant in a lane, or he can fire one big bubble that does heavy damage to just one plant. Bodyguard easily counters this guy, and you'll want to plant a Bodyguard on any of your really expensive plants such as Poisidana, because those piercing bubbles, while they deal light damage, can kill your plants if they're hit multiple times.
The next new zombie is the Empty Mech. It's a machine that appears to have lost its pilot somewhere. It floats backwards down your lawn, tanking attacks for zombies ahead of it. It cannot make you lose if it gets to the top lane, so no need to worry there. However, it does still provide great protection for zombies in its lane. I'll also introduce our next new zombie, which is the Soldier Zombie. Soldier Zombie will sometimes stick out a remote control that drops a cage on a random tile. This cage also blocks attack, but it stays on the same tile unlike the Empty Mech. Good counters to the cages are Poisidana because they pierce, and Cattail because they just ignore the cages if it's on top of them. However, the cages can counter Cattails if they're far enough to be defenses because they'll distract them. They can also counter Crocodiles because they will activate immediately if the cage is dropped on them. However, don't fear if you haven't brought a counter because cages will die on their own after 25 seconds.
And our final new zombie for now is the Shark Summoner. This guy will every so often summon 2 sharks around him that deal really heavy damage to plants. These sharks go away after just a second or 2, but they deal a lot of damage while they are there. Again, Bodyguard carries against this zombie, since it will absorb the damage from the sharks for whichever plant it is protecting. Okay, wow, that was quite a lot, wasn't it? We cannot wait for you guys to be able to play Assault Aquaspace yourself very, very soon. We cannot tell you when we are releasing,
But we can tell you it's probably much sooner than you think.
Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe so you'll know when we release, and even better, join the Discord with the link in the description or pinned comment so you can always be as up to date as possible with Top Secret. We really hope you enjoyed the showcase and are really, truly cannot wait for release. Love you all, and goodbye.